you all for being here, and I'm sorry we kept you waiting for so long, but we have had a very interesting meeting of all cabinet ministers, non-cabinet MPs and senators are also in the building, but we will speak with them at a later point. The purpose of the meeting is for us to, on the eve of our second anniversary as a government, and to discuss the way forward for our third year in office and in government. We concentrated on delivery and more delivery, strategies for effecting a greater implementation of decisions with respect to delivering to communities, delivering to our citizens in our country. We also spent some time on the issue of collective responsibility, and every cabinet minister present has affirmed their commitment to collective responsibility as a cabinet and for taking the agenda of the government forward. On the third issue, we began discussing matters relating to our legislative agenda, especially in the fight against crime. As you know, we are very committed to that. We have only recently completed legislation in an area that was of great concern to many persons. That was with respect to the bill relating to our protection of children in the country. And that's how far we've gone. The meeting continues. We've taken a short break so I could come out to apprise you. And let me make it very clear. No minister has been fired. No minister will be fired. No minister has resigned. And no minister has indicated any resignation. I understand there have been rumors that their appointments were revoked and so on. That was not the intention of this meeting. As I said, we met on the eve of in the month of our second anniversary to plan for that second anniversary, but indeed more important, to plan for the way forward in our third year of government. The third year of our government is always a very important year. It is a midpoint, it's halfway point, a midterm, and therefore it's a very vital year, which is seen by some as being a make or break year. So we spent quite some time doing it, and the discussions have been very cordial. I'm very proud of the level of maturity and the wisdom in the discussions we've been holding on the part of each of the ministers present at the meeting. Perhaps you'll get an update at a later point, but we do intend to continue the meeting for some time further. So I thank you all very much. Sure. All ministers affirm their commitment to collective cabinet responsibility. All ministers have affirmed their commitment to the position of collective cabinet responsibility.
I would say that ministers have reviewed the positions taken over the past week on the public domain and have now come to the view that they are part of a government, and those statements have been made as
Each minister present, and all ministers are present at this meeting, each minister affirmed his or her commitment to the position of, which is our constitutional position, of collective cabinet responsibility. Each minister spoke, and each minister not only did they affirm their commitment, each minister was very strongly supportive of what is the constitutional position of collective cabinet responsibility. Minister Ramada, indeed every minister of my cabinet, I repeat, has reaffirmed their commitment to collective cabinet responsibility.
Do you have any idea how this rights, that speculation of education, whether that can happen with Mr. Ramada and what or such interest in national unity?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any idea of how that would have worked out?
Oh, you mean the idea that someone would be revoked?
Yes.
This country is a very speculative country, and indeed, maybe they are taking pattern from history, where in the past, where you had prime ministers who were not a dogma's bark. The prime minister spoken a different kind of governance. I think one perhaps would have that kind of a pattern of behavior in the past may have fueled that kind of speculation. But certainly you have a very different kind of prime minister, a different style of governance within the coalition, one that is consensus building rather than dictatorial. So I can only speculate as well as to what may have fueled that. Perhaps some other persons who fed that speculation, to whom it came in their minds, that's how they may have acted.
Prime Minister, you said all ministers have put their business collective responsibility.
Yes.
Are you now confident in all your ministers, despite what was said the last couple of days?
I have no reason to doubt my ministers in what they've said and done today. As I said before, I was very impressed with the level of maturity, the level of wisdom in the suggestions made, and indeed looking for way forward in respect to delivery, in respect to governance issues, in respect to communication issues. Those matters were all discussed to devise strategies as we continue so to do. I feel very strong. My government is very strong. I mean, over 400,000 persons voted for us. We have differences of opinion from time to time, but I feel the government is very strong, the cabinet is very strong, and out of the hours we've been meeting there, I have not picked up one dissonant voice that seems to be saying, I do not want to belong to this partnership, or I want this partnership to break up. Indeed, everyone has affirmed their commitment to the partnership and to collective cabinet responsibility, which I think was one of the issues that may have arisen within recent times.
Do you think that the principle of collective cabinet responsibility can easily apply to the position of government as opposed to a unitary government like it was in
It is always easier when you have one child as compared when you have 5. It will always have to be by consensus, and that's why the style of governance in this coalition is not one of dictatorial positions. It is one of consensus building, and that is what we continue to do. We will have challenges from time to time, as with any organization, but I repeat, and I feel very confident as I stand there after this meeting, that the government remains intact. The government is very strong, and we are very determined to make our 3rd year in office a better year than the past 2 years. Unless you have other questions, I may want to leave. Samson.
The whole counting of this issue of collective responsibility.
Sure.
Was there any mention or any need for you to outline the disciplinary action that...
Not at all. During this meeting, there was no recourse to any waving the whip or dangling a carrot. That never happened. It was each person speaking from their hearts, and as I say, strongly committing to the partnership, strongly committing to the cabinet and the responsibilities of the cabinet. There was no carrot and stick discussion at all. At no point was that ever mentioned or brought forward by anyone.
Did you say what you expect of your minister?
I did not. We never got there. I opened the meeting by indicating that we are here to move forward into our 3rd year. Let us discuss strategies and let us discuss concerns and issues that we can put forward to take us fully into that 3rd year to do better than we did in the last 2 years. So at no point was there any reading of rules or reading a riot act. At no point did that happen.
What do you expect if they do not agree with a policy position in the future?
I will not speculate into the future. I will determine my governance as we are today with the full confidence of my cabinet, of all my ministers, my MPs. I will determine it as I go day to day. I think it would be foolhardy for me to speculate about something that may never happen, and I have no intention of going there at this point in time.
Can you see when the coalition leaders are expected to meet again?
Next week.
What sort of concerns were raised among members, particular concerns?
I think the major concern was that we should be more effective on delivery. Having spent the 2 years, we've learned a lot, and therefore in this 3rd year we envisage that we can deliver far more in the 3rd year because of the experience that we have gained. The second issue that arose had to do with communications, and that is always an issue as we communicate with you, as we communicate with the nation, and as we communicate with each other.
I was asking about this managing expectations. In fact, the first question I asked you was
Sure.
managing expectations about what you need to present to the policies, people will have different expectations for social programs.
What is your question, please? What is your question?
The question being, how do you successfully do that in the context of where you have people who can't please everyone? That is the question. How can you do that?
It's a governance of consensus building. That is how you do it. As I always say, if everyone was happy at the same time, then we will be in heaven. We are not in heaven. It is not a perfect world, and therefore we work as a majority. That's how we go, as a majority, and we use the majority and the consensus building to help manage the expectations. We would have seen what's happening in the US, for example, very high expectations. They're going into another election. They have had that difficulty. And I also ask you to look at what's happening in Britain. They also have a coalition government. And I am of the firm view that coalitions is taking the world by storm. I am not of the view that we will see too many governments that are unitary governments in the world. And therefore, this is a very important exercise that we are engaged in. We have been given a tremendous opportunity in the future of the politics, which is managing the coalition, at the same time recognizing what you said about expectations, but managing to maintain consensus building to take not ourselves forward, but to ensure that we improve the quality of life of all of our citizens. That is all. And that's what we must remember why we're here, why we become politicians in the first place. And if we always go back to that baseline, then we can always do better. And that was discussed in the meeting as well. Why are we here? Why did we seek to win the electorate and win those votes? And it was because we wanted and we committed to helping to improve the quality of lives of all of our citizens. And baselines, once you're there, then you'll never get it wrong. You make steps along the way, but you will not get it wrong. Always remember from whence you came, what was your purpose, what was your objective. And I think we are all very clear about that. In the meeting again, people are very clear. This is what we want to continue to do, to continue to serve the people, serve the people, serve the people, to continue to deliver, deliver, and deliver. And to do that always remembering what was the commitment we made when we became members of Parliament. Can I thank you all very much? So I can continue my meeting? Everyone is done? No more questions? I'm sure. I thank you all very much and have a good evening. Thank you all. Thank you.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar with her address to the nation, coming out of that special emergency cabinet meeting today.